Hiya folks, it's Kikoskia here with some more Hearthstone, and this time we're going to be going back into the Tavern Brawl. Why? Because this Tavern Brawl highlights something I do not like about the Tavern Brawls. The idea for the brawl is actually quite a good one. When clones attack, Zerek's cloning technology is out of control! Choose a class and get a random deck. Every minion you play will generate a 1/1 clone. Having minions be cloned is an interesting idea for a brawl. The downside is that your deck is entirely random, and this is a wild brawl, so the choices for cards are from every single expansion and adventure, related of course to the class that you're playing. This means that there is no guarantee you're going to get any cohesion in your deck, and you may get some really terrible cards. That said, there is some strategy. Rogue is pretty good in this one because you can use that hero power to get rid of the 1/1s really effectively. Mage also can get rid of the 1/1s, and Paladin can make minions consistently with a hero power that will trade into the 1/1s. Silence is also a pretty good mechanic in this brawl. I've cleared it once as a Warlock. It took me quite a few attempts to do so because the minions I got weren't very good, and I did face quite a lot of Priests. They have some really effective spells that can make sure that they keep the board. I'm going to be playing this time as a Shaman, mainly because I have a daily that requires me to win as either a Warlock or a Shaman, and I've already done it as a Warlock. So Morgul, it's time for us to go into the randomness and hope that we get some really good minions. And good spells as well. You never know, I might get a good lead and then just keep my lead. But the only way to find out will be for me to dare to enter the brawl. Let's see how lucky I am.
Morgul versus Tyrande!
We're up against a Priest, and that usually doesn't end very well for me in this, mainly because Power Word Shield is a really effective spell. Do I want to keep a 3-drop? Actually, keeping a 3-drop isn't a bad idea. We don't have a 1-drop, but that's okay. I could coin out the Whirling Zap-O-Matic if I want to. It's not a bad idea, it's a very aggressive play, and if my opponent doesn't have a 1-drop, I could get a good lead here. Let's see how we do. Oh, I remember the Whirling Zap-O-Matic. It was a dangerous minion to go up against when it was in the standard rotation. Shadow Boxer. And another one. A dangerous minion, but we can deal with this dangerous minion by using the Rockbiter weapon here. Face here for 4. Trade. Hit face for 3. Trade. We have the board, and our opponent has taken 7 points of damage. Not bad. That's not great, but we can trade into the 1/1 at the very least. And we can play the Ice Rager to get a 5/2. So let's do this, and that, and then we'll have a 5/2 and a 1/1. If only I got some silence, then I'd have another 5/2. That 3/3 is going to do some very efficient trading, probably trading into the 1/2, I imagine. I'd have saved that. I'd have definitely saved that one. We'll play the Storm Chaser here. It's a 3/4, why not?
Stormy, stormy.
We have a 5 or higher cost spell, which is nice because Bloodlust is always a nice one to get. Also, Flame Tongue is going to be very useful here. Now that minion is going to be a problem unless we damage it, which we're going to have to do, and if we damage it by at least 3, then that minion won't be able to attack, and that's the plan. But first, let us use Earthen Might here, and get another Elemental, a Mana Geode. Not a bad minion at all, especially considering that the Healing Totem can heal it. we'll play a Flame Tongue here. And then we'll play a Feral Gibberer. Marvellous. Do this so that you can't attack, and then we'll hit for 7. A nice aggressive play. That said, I imagine this Flame Tongue Totem is about to be destroyed by the 1-1.
Engaging TC-130 until dislocated.
We just lost the Flame Tongue Totem. Not the worst, considering the fact that I have this board, and only one of the opponent's minions can attack.
Handle it!
Ooh. That's a 3-1. That's a nasty board. Very nasty. Now, I have 5, 6, 7. Add an additional 9. 7 add 9 equals 4, 8. 1 over lethal. Well played. I was quite fortunate there. Very fortunate that my opponent didn't have any kind of taunt. And that's a win. Very nice. Daily complete. Now let's play this as a different class and see how well I do. If my opponent had managed to get my high damage minion with the mind control tech, I'd have definitely lost that. Now let's play as the rogue and show off how effective that hero power can be, and also potentially how badly my luck can turn. Who's my opponent?
Maiev versus Anduin.
Another priest.
Life shall bring victory.
None can escape my fury.
The Buccaneer might be quite useful, especially considering that ability stacks. So we'll only keep the Buccaneer and see how we go. Ooh, Leeching Poison. Could be useful, I suppose. We have a turn 1 play and really not much else. Hopefully this turn 1 play will be sufficient. We have another one as well.
Feed the fish like blubber.
Hello. So when we hero power, we're going to get a 3-2 weapon for 2. It's like Fiery War Axe before it got nerfed, but all the time.
Onward, Snugglesnout!
I see you.
Not bad. Let's get rid of that 1-drop, shall we? Marvellous.
Justice is mine.
Now, do I want to keep a 2-1? Probably, because I do have another Buccaneer. So we'll trade here, and we'll deal 4 damage. Not bad. Hopefully my opponent won't have a minion that can't be killed with my 3-1 weapon.
You'll never see me coming.
Ooh. That's a little bit of a problem. That's a huge problem. I'm going to lose both of those minions. Not really much I can do, so I'll play Violet Haze. And then I think I'll just go face. I'm going to keep the weapon charge. There's going to be a lot of very efficient trading here. Doesn't matter which way you trade, you'll be able to kill both of them. Ooh, coining out something for 4.
Your magic shall not save you.
That would have honestly been a minion that I'd have saved, because the silence would have been quite useful in making one of your 1-1 minions a lot better. But either way, I'll trade into the 4-3 here. Then, I think I'll actually play the Devil Sorag. Because I have a 1-1 Devil Sorag now. And that one can attack, giving me a 5-5 when it dies. Unless, of course, it gets silenced.
You smell like a leopard.
Okay, a 5-4 and a 1-1. Not the best. We do have a obsidian statue here, and that's not too terrible. And the Falderai Strider will mean that I can potentially draw some spiders.
Welcome to my web.
go. Now, fortunately, the 5-4 is going to be able to trade very effectively into my 5-5, but I do have a 4-4 as well. So it's not a terrible board, especially if I can do something to get that egg active. That 1-2 and 1-1, however, I'm a little concerned about. Also, I'm concerned about Shadow Word Death as well, but I have to play presuming that one of the random cards in this priest's hand is not Shadow Word Death. Could be anything. You could even have some really odd... Ooh, I'd say some really odd legendaries. That's not great, because you'll trade there, and you'll go face. I thought you'd go face. Now, what I want to do is get rid of this and play the Paladin Sky Golem. That one will give me a 4-drop when it dies, and so will that one, giving me a pretty decent board. What minion will you play? I may not have much health, but that's okay. Now the minion that is resurrected by the bishop here is a full statted minion. And I am at 12 health, which is okay, because now I have a 4-drop.
And I know a lot.
Plus spell power when I use my hero power. That's not terrible. Let's play this minion and get the choice of... Ooh, Unstable Evolution. That's not bad. But Eye of Black Paw is also pretty good. I think Unstable Evolution is better, however. And we'll get rid of your 1-1. And you now have some spell damage. If we get something like Eviscerate, that'll be pretty useful. If you have something charge-related, I'm in a bit of trouble, but my board's actually quite impressive. A lot of damage on the board, and if there is a board clear, apart from the cloning device. Oh, interesting. If there's a board clear that isn't Psychic Scream, I should be okay. So you have discovered a copy of a minion from my deck. Ooh, 5-1 with Rush and a 1-1 with Rush. You're going to trade into the 5-3 and... No, you're going to trade that way around. Aha! Now they have additional damage, which is exactly what I wanted to activate the Devil Saw Egg. Brilliant. Let's do that. Marvellous. I'm not going to attack with the Sneaky Devil. I don't want that minion to get targeted. Let us play a Wind Fury Harpy.
Justice is mine.
With the increased damage, that's actually kind of dangerous. Also, some Lost Spirits as well. When they die, all of my minions get +1 attack, and that is powerful, especially with a Wind Fury minion, especially with 2 Wind Fury minions. Ah, Squashlings. You're going to play them because they have Echo. You can play 4 of them, but I have a pretty nice board here. That doesn't work because I have a full board. But if I were to attack, say, here, and then here, that's a lot of damage. 8. Nope, it's enough for lethal. Well played. 2 wins, and I'm really surprised at getting 2 wins here. But will I be able to get 3? I'm going to play as a different class, I think. I think I will play as a hunter. Why not? Have a bit of variety, and I haven't seen a hunter in all the times that I've tried to win this Tavern Brawl. And I'm maybe going to find out why. Who is my worthy opponent today?
Rexar versus Valera.
I'm up against a rogue.
Watch your back.
Let the hunt begin.
Bomb Toss is not as useful as I'd like it to be, because that is a 0-2 Goblin Bomb, but it's probably the best 2-drop I'm going to have for a little while. Arcane Shot isn't bad, but then again, saying it's probably the best 2-drop I'm going to get for a while, my deck could be completely full of 2-drops. Who can say?
Greetings, traveler.
You know, I got rid of that because I didn't want it, right? Never mind. Snipe may be useful at some point. I may find something to activate the Goblin Bomb. Who knows?
Victory.
Ah! 3-2 that deals 1. That's fine, I have the perfect counter. Kind of. At some point I may even be able to deal some damage with that Goblin Bomb. It's more likely I'll never be able to deal any damage with that Goblin Bomb. Are you just going to go... You're going to trade, aren't you? You are, because you're a little afraid of me activating that Goblin Bomb. That's good for me. That's not good for me, though. Ouch, minions costing 6 more, but I may have to play it. Thralmar Farseer. A Wind Fury minion, not a bad thing, especially when I have 2 of them. The Bright-Eyed Scout might also be good, considering that my deck is completely random. Then it draws a Wisp that is 5 mana. It could happen.
Locked and loaded.
Iron Forge Rifleman. Ouch. You're probably going to go face. Yep. I don't blame you. You're looking at that card. Let's play the Bright-Eyed Scout. See what we get. That's really good.
I see your
That is a really good card to have a mana reduction on. That card is normally 9 mana. We can get a 5/5, a 1/1 copy of that 5/5, and up to 3 other minions. Much better than playing Venture Mercenary, that's for sure. Trade. Trade. Let's see what we get, shall we? Hopefully it's good. That's pretty good, especially with Auction Master Beardo. That's going to be a lot of hero powers that I'm going to be getting. Every time I cast a spell, my hero power is refreshed. You're going to get a random card from my class, and another 1/1. And Cold Blood to get rid, I imagine, of Master Oakheart. Yep. Still, I have a pretty strong board here. It's pretty strong. And a Kaboom Bot is a pretty nice minion to get. So, let's play it. And I think Snipe actually right now would be pretty good, just so that we can keep the board. There we go. No time indeed. Let's go. We have the board. There are many things that you could do to take the board away from me. Vanish would be quite good, but then I could just start playing everything again. You probably don't want me to play all this again.
Show them
Ooh, Toshly, I have that one. And now that's got a little less health. Those spare parts could be very useful. Could be very useful indeed. What do I want to do here? What I want to do here is this. You do get some spare parts. Your hand has 9 cards in it. And I think it's time for a Abominable Bowman. A nice big minion, and if any beasts have died, we'll get a copy of them when the Abominable Bowman dies. Glacial Shard. Well, that's 6 damage prevented. More damage prevented. Those are the spare parts in action there. You have a lot of cards.
Protocol 7 engaged.
War Gear. Right, what can we do here? We could play Swamp King Dread. That's actually a pretty good idea. Let's do it. I have 2 of them now. Okay, we want to, let's see. I want to do that. And then this. This. Giving me a 1-1. And this. Just so that if you have any minions that you decide to play that I can trade my 2-1 into, there's a chance that 5-3 will perish. There are things you can do to turn this board around, but the luck appears to have been on my side in all of the matches that I've played. Normally it isn't. Normally it isn't. But imagine, if you will, if I was the rogue right now, and the rogue had seen me just constantly get things that were perfect to counter everything that they play. That was a pretty good counter to Swamp King Dread. It's a really good counter to Swamp King Dread. Imagine everything just going wrong, and the only reason it is because your cards aren't as good as your opponent's, and you had no control over what cards you ended up playing.
I usually work alone.
That did not go so well, trade-wise there. Now we have lethal. So well played.
Well played.
Let's just go for lethal. Using McCall. Well played. 3 matches, and they all went rather well, and that was because I was rather lucky with the minions that I got. There is definitely the same amount of strategy in those matches as any matches, but that only gets you so far. Your minions have to be good enough to actually be able to hold the board and win, and if your minions are terrible, you're not going to be getting very far. And so that's one of the reasons why I really don't like the Tavern Brawls where your deck is completely random. I was lucky that time, but there are other times when you're not lucky. And when you're not lucky, you can just lose, and it's not your fault at all. And so, when we come back, folks, there'll be some more Hearthstone. Will it be a Tavern Brawl, or will it be a deck that I have crafted? It's likely going to be the latter, unless the Tavern Brawl is something truly spectacular. They often aren't, but sometimes they are. And I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.